This is a Pyramid One International Network presentation. Hi, and welcome to Pyramid One World Radio. Let me tell you about the hosts of the upcoming show, A View of Humanity. Maggie Clark was just voted and given an award for the best psychic in Phoenix, Arizona, 3 years in a row. Evidential psychic medium Maggie Clark offers powerful and accurate validations of the spiritual dimensions around us. As a spiritual teacher, Maggie shows how to integrate the natural psychic senses with the empowerment of spiritual knowledge to help create a more fulfilling life of love, happiness, and success. Maggie's avid curiosity to understand how his gifts work have led him to participating in scientific studies about the afterlife and mediumship. As a master educator in spiritual development, Maggie shares his wisdom through his podcast, Psychic Evolution, the podcast where you discover the psychic potential within and learn how to empower yourself and manifest your psychic and mediumship abilities. Maggie Clark is also an author of the children's book series, The Adventure of Rocco and Tuki, The Kids from Mars, Book 1 and 2, as well as the Psychic Evolution Training Cards, and the Maggie Isms, Philosophies and Isms of a Psychic Medium. Now, let's talk about Maggie Clark. Maggie Clark is the co-host of the Psychic Evolution podcast and a prolific spiritual coach, an accomplished healer. Maggie is committed to helping people find a way to blend their spiritual life with their everyday life for empowerment, healing, and growth. The author of 365 Days of Tarot, Inspirational Tarot for your daily life. Maggie is a gifted tarot reader and astrologer. Maggie also has a healing arts practice in energy healing modalities. Together, these two team up to show you that your psychic senses are so natural, they are supernatural. Okay, now put your hands together. Let's bring them on.
Bobby, I feel like I'm in an interview. Look at how dapper you are, man. You got a tie and everything.
I figure right after the show, and then I'm gonna head off to Washington and set them straight.
Yes. Someone's funny.
Have fun with all those lifetimes you'll spend there.
Yeah.
Lordy.
No. Actually, I mean, you guys have been, especially Jamie. He's been around me for a while. I mean, my distance between A and B is real small.
You know the balance point. Yes, sir. That's the point.
Oh yeah. I don't. That I'm not going to sit and talk about something till I lose my voice or something. And I sang my whole life. I had bronchitis and sang for a whole week in shows. How? Nobody knew. Not even the doctor that was giving me all the penicillin. I mean, I had penicillin for years, but I'm serious. I mean, nobody knew how it happened. So if I didn't lose anything there, forget about it. In Washington, hey, I'd be in with the rest of the guys. You know what I mean?
That's what's going to help you stand out. Just do you, man. That's the point.
I sound like I came from Brooklyn, I guess. The guy would say, "Well, we have to sit down."
Okay. I feel safe.
Right there, you go. I mean, that's the way to do it. I mean, I can see the people on the thing over here laughing too.
Good. Excellent.
Anyway, the whole thing about what we were talking about. I wanted to ask one question before you guys start your dissertation. Oh, I love that stuff. But anyway, what's with this tower? I mean, I see this tower all over the place. I mean, I'm ready to I'm looking at Rapunzel. You know what I mean? It's what's going on with this stuff? I mean,
You're referencing the tower card in the tarot, right?
Oh yeah. I mean,
oh my gosh, amazing card.
Let me tell you what else is going on, and it's been going on. I told everybody around here anyway. They still think I'm insane, but they knew that anyway. The thing was, I see every morning I'm up at 3:00 in the morning every morning and have been forever. So when I get up, I usually go and I get into the kitchen thing and I do my coffee and the whole 9 yards and everything. Every single morning for the last 9 days. It's been 9 days today. I've been seeing the number 333. And wait a minute, hold on. When I come back with the dog and I do my thing and I take my quick shower and everything else and I go out and to warm up my coffee, it's 444. Now I know that an angel's looking over my shoulder. He's tapped me a couple of times. But what's the 333 though? Slammed into the 444 9 days in a row.
Yeah, isn't it kind of interesting? 9 days, and then there's 333. That kind of equals 9 too. What a coincidence!
Yeah. I don't know.
It came out your mouth, man. Like that's 9 days.
I don't know. Well, it's like the new law in in Washington at 666. We're doing a lot of dividing with 3 lately.
Yeah, Mag is the.
Well, the 3s and the 4s. So 3, if you just take the number 3, this is all about creativity. It's, the energetic matrix, the fabric of creation on some level. And, it could be mother, maiden, crone. It's the triple goddess energy or the, that turn to Father, Son, Holy Ghost. But it's the Trinity. It's the energy of the Trinity. So what you have is you have birth, you have life, and you have death. You have 333. And it's a powerful number when those 3s combine themselves. 33 is what's considered a master number. And that would be like the resonance of Christ or Buddha. It's got a really heavy, beautiful, spiritual, ascended master type of energy. And then you add that extra 3 on there, and then you're kicking it up to another level. But the 333, when combined, in tarot terms, you have the 3 as the Empress, then 3 and 3 is 6, which is the Lovers, and then 3, 3, and 3 is 9. Those 3 cards, or the 3 and the 3 and the 3, represent 3 aspects of life. Like I said, birthing life, living life, and completing life, and the cycle of life, and how it returns you back into the creative matrix. So I love when we get to see these numbers 333. To me, it's always a validation. So pay attention to what you're thinking about when you see these numbers. Like just go, okay, this is some kind of validation. Someone's getting your attention. Now the 4.
What I was just going to say to you is that what am I going to? I'm going to make love to the head hostess at a diner with the angels looking over my shoulder.
Oh, hey, if it works, man.
Is that what you heard?
I mean, serious. I mean, what's going on here? I mean, Trust me out there, ladies, I'm not that old. It's like, hey.
Oh my gosh. So you know, it's important just to know that usually they're validations.
She just lost her space. You know that.
Yeah. It's interesting, but Mag is very knowledgeable about these dynamics. And I always say, don't you find it interesting? Have you ever questioned the fact that these scientists who make these major life-changing discoveries do it in numbers and letters? Really, really? E equals MC squared, speed of light. So my point is this is a holographic universe. Numbers have their own vibrational patterns of information. You're not going to wear the number 5 out at all. You can be added on to anything. But also, you're starting to see from the physical metaphysical integration through these symbols, in this case, 333. It's enough to get your attention to start questioning things. And Mag is very knowledgeable in a way that I was always impressed with astrology and the ability through the cards, in this case the tarot, of how much information you can get by those cards and the person.
Wait a minute. It's very, very close to numerology.
Absolutely.
In a sense. I mean, the more and more I notice about what you do, Maggie, and I mean, I'm very interested in what you do, and I watch your shows and everything else, and that to find out what's going on with this stuff. I mean, I'm taped. I want to get a set of cards and then do it for myself and to see what comes out. I mean, if I did something like, it'd be maybe the table would move or something. I don't know.
Maybe the world would move. Right.
That'd
the world would move. Yeah, kind of, sort of. But if you take numerology and you apply it in the same way that you apply tarot to our own lives, we have already written our own eternal history.
Right, but there's many ways to get there.
Yeah.
Well, and we have
right. You either got a path or you don't, right?
Well, and then you have free will, right? So you can change your path, you can change your mind, you could change your belief system, you can decide a different road, you'll still get to where you're going, which is who you are.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's true. Well, that's going back now to Jamie's side net with the soul print.
Right.
Who you are, what you are, where you came from, where you're going, and what you think about you.
Yes.
Well, and the nice thing about numbers is they don't lie. It is the law of this universe, not all universes, but it's the law of this universe. You don't have science without numbers. You don't have an alphabet without numbers, because that was the original way of communication was, numbers existed. So it's a huge piece in just developing cultures. So when you have numerology, you have tarot, when you're looking at any number, that number will always mean the same thing, whether it's in math or whether it's in geometry and sacred geometry, whether it's in the tarot, numerology, astrology, a number will always mean the same thing. There's lots of different meanings to one number and lots of varying ways that it can show up in someone's life or life circumstances, but it can be vastly different.
I think people better start paying more attention to that and the fact that we do have the numbers and the letters and everything, because let's face it, our whole lives are turning into zeros and ones.
There you go.
What if that is part of it?
Exactly. And if that's the case, the numbers, the letters are right behind it, and you can only be 26 times wrong. So,
well, and
for this English language, and that's only just one language.
Exactly. Well, yeah, but in the other ones, it's less letters. So,
well, the original numbering system, if you want to go way back from what's been recorded, they only had a circle and a line. Before numbers were actually created, they had a circle and a line. The circle was representative of spirit, and the line was representative of man or the physical. And so they created numbers with circles and lines to reflect, when you have the number 9, for instance, you have spirit over matter, or spirit sitting on top of the physical world. And that's the completion when that finally gets to that point. But you start with 1, which is just the physical. So you get from the physical to the combination of, ooh, I'm more than just here on this planet. I have an eternal soul. And that's the journey from the 1 to the 9 in a nutshell, is oh, here, I'm a physical being on this planet, to, ooh, I'm a physical being and I also have a spirit and I have a soul.
It'd be nice enough if everybody just realized to themselves. And I talk about this in the morning, and that when I meet with my people. We are awesome. You have to think that way. We are number one. Each one of us is number one. No matter what you think, you could be down, you could be, there's a million different, the physiological and psychological things that a person can go through and really feel like crap, you know?
Yep.
But you're not. If you realize, if you can think and you can see yourself, you are you. That's number one. If you start there and come out from there, you get like the instruction that I've heard from a million times from Jamie and things that of what we are. We are number one. We are. When it says I am, I am. When it says love yourself, it means love yourself. For real. You, because you are you.
Yes. And that's
That's
how we
not
all
too crazy,
stand
right?
out. Just
Yeah.
do you. Right.
Hey, we got some people on here that are either laughing their out
Or all of it.
or crying because I opened my mouth. And I'm wearing a tie, by the way. This is the first time on the radio I got a tie on.
I know you're looking great. Can I ask why? Just because you want to look handsome, or is there another reason?
Everybody's going to laugh their brains out. About 90% of it is a joke in a sense, but when you move from like one part or one thing to another, and that you take your clothes and then you throw them in something and you leave them there and you figure, well, I'll get back to it. Well, let me see. We're in our other house, but 3 years here in Florida. Okay. Out comes this shirt. And I said, oh, we didn't wash the shirt. So here's the shirt. It was put it back. Here's the shirt. And I figured, what the hell, man? I'll put a tie on over here in it, and I'll really look good in it, and I'll tell everybody I'm going to Washington and have as many brains as the guys in Washington. Hey, there you go.
Beautiful.
So I'm serious, but I mean, I wore this kind of stuff in it for 35, 40 years.
Yep, I understand.
So it was like I looked like a doctor or a lawyer all the time. As a matter of fact, that I was in New York and at one time, and this is really funny. Apparently, some lawyer, when I was in New York and I was doing my presentations like the Capital One and all that kind of stuff, I come out of this building that's down there, just had lunch, and that we're half buzzed in a bit of bag and everything else. Now it was a liquid lunch. Not really. I'm only kidding. We had hamburgers.
The most effective.
Yeah, we had big hamburgers. But anyway, I come out of the place now, and this girl comes up to me and she says, I know you. Now, being in the entertainment business for so many years, yeah, people will recognize who you are, So I didn't know her, so she was probably younger when I saw her the first time. Who knows? But anyway, the thing was, it was one person, two persons, three persons, four persons, five persons. So, I mean, I didn't look too bad in the suit. all I needed was two guys and that on each side of me that looked like guards, and I would have been fine.
With a white jacket on.
There you go. But that came later. That came after I took off my regular one. Is that the one that ties in the back or ties in the front?
Exactly. Yes, sir. Stylish.
Exactly. Now you got some people over here on the phone.
Cool.
Yeah, let's have some fun.
Let's do this.
They're so beautiful, man. They're so quiet. Ooh.
Thanks. Let's not be quiet when we're on.
You're listening. Yeah.
Fantastic. It's always great to talk with others, man. It's beautiful.
Shah Nassar, are you on the line?
Oh, yes. My name is Zara.
Hey, there you are. All right, I'll tell you what. You are live on the radio, and you're talking to Maggie and Jamie. Go ahead.
Hey, Zara. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Good to talk with you. So do you have any questions? How can we be of service?
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to know about love life. If you can tell me anything.
Just real quick as an energy dropping into my big head. If you haven't had somebody that you've been connected to before that's come back into your present, maybe in the past 6 months or sooner. Just because anyone comes in doesn't mean you have to even acknowledge them. But I pick up very strongly is somebody from your past that comes back into your present. Now, not only that, there's a very strong potential that, if you continue in this direction, that by the end of this year, 2022 or sooner, will you find yourself more than likely in a very good relationship.
Okay. And do you think it's with the same person?
What do you mean by that?
Well, would it be the same person she'll be?
Oh, it certainly could be. It certainly could be. I'm just going to say, you know what, just to make it more validating, it's going to be somebody else as well. It could be easy to go, yeah, nope. It's got a different vibrational pattern. So, that way we want to do the best we can to give you information so that when these things potentially happen, you've got some insight. Like, oh, we talked about that, and here was the circumstance, and okay, I get that, before you're even making that connection. Because I feel like you're already opening up to life, but you're also very responsible. Like I do, we always got to care for the kids and do that. But as there's those dynamics happening, I feel like you're also kind of reconnected with yourself, starting to find yourself within life more to go, no, we're always going to be good for others and the kids and all that, but I'm going to take a little time for me. And so, just even a little bit of time is starting to put you on the radar screen. And a lot of times what will tend to happen for the average person is when we start to reconnect with ourselves in life again, that usually will trigger somebody from your past that you have not seen in a year or longer that comes into your present moment. It's no life changer. If anything, it's just a validation of your growth, meaning whoever this person will be, like, God, it's good to see you again. And if you have a conversation, you'll think to yourself, maybe in my own life experience, I'm growing and changing because I used to see things like that. Okay, now I know I'm growing and changing, because I always say I can grow and change all I want, but if I have no reference what I'm growing and changing into, whatever. You've got this connection where I feel like you're finally starting to take time for you. And as you start to find yourself within life, then you'll begin to even more effectively find that life within you, which in turn is what connects with this other person. And you're not going to have to settle. I don't feel like, well, yeah, yes, ma'am. And Maggie's got some information as well. But the great thing is that it's about the empowerment, that you're even ready to be open to find yourself within a relationship. That's a big thing. That's that self-realized energy to go, you're 100% a person and complete, and they'll be 100% incomplete, not 50-50, and they never complete. They only complement. What you got, Meg?
I actually really agree with Jamie in the sense that, he says that you're reconnecting with yourself. There's an energy here in the cards that really will pay attention to recreating your personality on some level. Like, what does Zara look like today? And do you want to express yourself in a new way? I feel like there's a lot of new opportunities, new energy coming in for you to recreate that expression. And then all you have to do is put your energy into that expression and put that energy out into the world. And it does create opportunities for you to connect with people. And on the heels of that, there is a slight potential with one of the cards here, which is typically known as the work card. It's the Three of Pentacles, that you might meet someone through your workplace or through a past or present workplace, but definitely it's about recreating that personality, stepping into the new vibe of who you are today, really being strong in that vibe and willing to express yourself. That is what creates and opens up all the doors of connections for you as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
I got a question though. Let me throw something in here real quick. Would that mean that the person that's looking for love has to open the door to let the love come in?
I think the door for Zara is her energy. From this reading, the Queen of Wands is kind of showing up saying, hey, your creative energy is amazing. Can you express it? Can you let people feel it? Can you let people see it? Make sure you don't hide it. Sometimes we hide our energy because we're either, insecure or uncomfortable with how we're changing or growing, or we haven't really solidified that. So this is a solidification of her personal expression and her creative energy and being willing to activate. The Queen of Wands is an activator. She's the ignition point. She's the Shakti. She's the one that can put her energy in the world and shake things up. And that's really what's being called right now is, can your energy come to the surface? Can you recreate who you are, really strong and vibrant, like a positive woman, like I am woman, hear me roar, be that tiger this year. We are going into the year of the tiger. So just be the tiger and go for it. There is an activity, don't wait for things to come to you. Embrace life, engage life, put the energy into the world. That creates those opportunities.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too, Zara.
You too, Zara. Thanks for calling in, too. It's always a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
I got another one. Wait. Let's see.
You playing the piano? What are you doing?
No. Well, the end, the song that's at the end of this, this is what I have set up here. Actually, is a recording studio, right? Wait, you're gonna go? No way!
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, it's pretty. I fool around on my time that I have nothing better to do.
That's awesome.
Anyhow, Jason, are you there? I see you. Let's see, maybe he's off.
Sometimes we're all a little off.
No, you there, Jason?
But I know Jason.
There you go. See, now we hear you.
Wait a minute. Someone doing psychic. It's not my name, but I know a like, oh, that was good.
Oh boy. Okay, you're on. You're on live with Jamie and
Is
Matt.
this Reese? That sounds like Reese.
Yes, it's Reese.
Ah, got it.
Hey.
Well, yeah, you got that unique vibe, man. I can tell. That's excellent.
And
So what's going on? Hey, and a birthday boy? Or is he getting taller or what?
Yes.
Man, that's awesome.
Growing like a weed.
Yeah, big time.
I know. He's outgrown me. So
Never. That's the point. Right.
So blessed to celebrate that, as well as as his ongoing growth with his other abilities and so on and so forth. And I just thought I'd call and touch base. And I talked to you a while back about a couple of things, career and relationships, which are essentially every question you probably get. But so there have been gentlemen around me. There's two people that have tried to kind of introduce me to people, and I haven't met them yet. And then there's another person that lives in Ohio. He's a physician, and what can you tell me what direction this is going, if at all, or if I'm just I just want to know what this is all about.
Yeah, I feel like in this way, it's one, expressing. Two, that you're ready to make the connections. Three, you're not going to settle for anything less. But excuse me, you're just giving me, that connection of a doctor person. But whoever that person is, I feel like they're very practical. Not just like, yeah, because I'm a doctor, but there's this just very down-to-earth, grounded kind of an energy. So here's another aspect. If you haven't reconnected somebody that you haven't seen in a while, that either was a past relationship or on the peripheral vision of it, I feel like there's a connection to somebody else who you have been aware of or connected to that comes back in a connection. Doesn't mean you have to date them in any way. But that's interesting because that's two people, the young lady first, Zara, and then you are vibing with some of your past coming back into your present. And it's not a negative in any way.
Right.
But in addition, that tells me you're opening up to life and to the spectrum of interaction, meaning you're very nice. You're very professional. There's no gap in any way. So they know if you say it, you're genuine. That's more of what I feel like is happening is right. It's practical. If they're going to say it, then they mean it. There's that type of very effective energy that you've been working on yourself. So it's like, good, see, you found yourself. Perfect. Now let's open up for life. And that kind of connection is also, funny but true, is what's going to allow our children, because, I've got, for me, boys as well. And in that, when they can see that it's okay for mom to take time for herself and to be happy. And not only does she help others, but she helps herself. Holy cow, that's a lot more comfort, because it's that kind of a connection that you're very selective. You're not silly, and you're not just jumping into a relationship. But I feel like that that mental connection that you have, beautiful. It's going to be very much aligned. There will be that spiritual flavor of awareness. It's not like they're going to be doing it more than likely professionally. But in addition, when they can have that practicality of spirituality, that you're like, wow, somebody who gets me and I don't have to explain everything. Hey, freaking A. Yep, exactly. So you're kind of tuning in.
This is the physician?
It's very possible. Yes, ma'am. It's very possible with that person. Otherwise, a new bun coming in.
A new one?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. When it rains, it pours.
I mean, that's good. That's good to know. I just was curious because he is out of state, and we had also talked about traveling quite a bit, and he travels a lot. So I don't know. I guess I'm curious as to whether or not he will be playing a role in that part of my journey.
I will say there's a strong potential for that connection. Yeah.
I was gonna say
Really?
she blushed.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but that kind of connection is huge. But in addition, what if it's the distancing at the moment, the physical distancing, to go, okay, see, you can just be you. You've got your own home, you've got your own connection, and now you're making this connection at a distance. So that way, as you're reaching out, because you know if you don't or he doesn't, you're not going to be connecting. That has got a really strong connection, because I don't feel like this other gentleman is just like, yeah, yeah. It's he's selective too. Just because he's good with people doesn't mean he has to accept everyone in his life. So I just feel like if you choose to go in that direction with this person, that you'll see very quickly, very, very nice, of course, but also very selective, meaning they're not going to just let a bunch of people come in and wreak havoc. I feel like this person's, done his own homework, found himself again, but it will allow you to have your own identity, that you can just be you and you're understood. You'll be like, frickin' A, finally, the very person that I've always been. I don't know how to be anything different. That may not have quite been appreciated by one is completely loved and accepted by another. Like, yep, the only thing that had to change was your mind.
Okay. Am I going to Ohio anytime soon?
What are you getting for her?
Did you want to answer
No,
that
I want to
question?
see what you get.
Oh, I actually went into a different direction.
Mhm.
I tackled the career with these cards. So you
Cool.
can
So
finish
you're
up
getting
the
both.
relationship
Yeah.
would.
I will just say, don't be surprised if it's like, hey, you want to come out for a couple of days or come out for a week? Yeah, we got this going on. And I also feel like, that there is the inclusion of your son. So it's not going to be like, nope, only you. I only want, nope. It'll be like he understands and you're a team.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Good to know.
Well,
Super
and
good, yeah.
again, you're very lovely in many qualities. And so when you can just be you and you don't have to put on a show and put on airs for other people and just be the real you,
Right.
yeah, that's when people are even more interested in this, who you are. Not just the way you present yourself in a public way, because you've got a great presentation, but I want to know who you are as that person. And, conversations that we've had, sometimes they want to see you differently so that they can get a different feel. Like, okay, that's a different look. All right, now I can feel it more effectively the way I want to feel it, which is great. So basically, I'm just telling you, you're on the radar screen for a number of people in a very good way. And it's like you go from not having a choice to go, really, you have to make a choice. Good. Mag, what you got?
So you're getting that vibe from the physician, but then there's another person too.
Yep. I didn't say it was be easy. I'm like, here, let me just give you some information. I'm a road sign. I love you. You don't have to pay attention, but I'm usually a good road sign. Do you like what's coming up for you or do you not?
Yeah.
I want to make you proactive.
Yeah.
And so in being able to do that, it's a little bit easier, right? Because the orchestration of life. You're now learning how much time, energy, and attention to give the people, circumstances, and experiences instead of so much of, and I got all this going on and I don't have a clue. You've now kind of pulled back enough to where you get a different perspective. And sometimes from that different perspective, you get different vantage point, different way of seeing things, which is what I feel like has been happening. You've been kind of taken out of one area and semi-comfort level to go, oh, now I got to see things a little differently because this is a different angle. I'm not going to be able to see it always the same way. And you'll see it and change. We are always growth-seeking beings.
Okay.
Cool. Mag's got some insight.
Yeah.
So I threw down some,
Yeah, of course.
I threw down some cards on the other question, which was about career, since he handled the relationship questions beautifully. And what I see with the career is right now there's about a self-definition happening. Like, do you still vibe with the same way that you've defined yourself at work? I don't see that there's a huge shift that's going to happen anytime soon. There's more of like a holding pattern and a wait pattern with it, but it is asking you, is this really how I want to spend my time? Is this really how I define myself? And your thoughts around your work and your job and what you've been doing, they're shifting right now. They're changing. And so just kind of open up to that. I think that you've had a lot of consciousness expansion around this. And I think that it's opening for you, but shifting your thoughts around the I am statements. Like, we really define ourselves a lot about the work that we do in the world and the careers that we have and the choices that we make. So there's a shift that's happening in your mind right now. So be okay to change some of the way that you thought about who you were, how you identified yourself, because that can open up a path for you, so to speak, so that you have an exit point if you want to exit, or an entry point if you want to do something different. But the path will open when you shift your thoughts in accordance to how you feel yourself to be now and not what you've always been in the career. Okay?
Okay. So do you see a new job on the horizon? Or, I mean, I know you said there wasn't any major shift that's going to happen anytime soon, but does that come into play anywhere?
Yep, more than likely. And here's the thing. You might either have, funny but true, you might either do multiple things at once for this year, like multiple things together. Otherwise, you might be doing one thing and then that is tying into something else. Otherwise, you do one thing and that's complete, and this other opportunity opens up before you were even to leave this other place. That should be like, wow, I can't believe it. And this is more of what I've been wanting to do. I had to do what I had to do. Now I'm doing more of what I want to do. This is a lot more fun. So, yeah, I do feel like there's a very good potential that you will find yourself in another position before the end of this year or sooner.
Okay. I was like,
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to take that long. Exactly. I'll always try to do the best I can to either go before it happens or when it ends. That way you can get some kind of a direction of it.
appreciate it. I appreciate you both very much.
Yeah, well, and the same. And thanks for
Forward
doing
to
it.
seeing you soon. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And hi to your son. He's an awesome young man.
Yes, absolutely. I will let him know. And big hugs, Maggie. And
Yes.
lots of love to you both. And we'll chat soon.
Yes,
Awesome.
you got
Have a
it.
good one, Reese.
Awesome.
You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Beautiful. Great people.
Oh, there you go.
You know, and
That
it's
was,
nice to have a
yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, there was like, you definitely, I mean, put her mind at, yeah, there's my tower.
Now,
too.
because not everyone is aware of the meanings of that. Can you share, Mag, what the basic meaning
Well,
is?
yeah, he started with the tower earlier. I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a fabulous card. It is
It's
so
really-
amazing.
I keep seeing it. I mean, it's like not just from you, but from other people too, that are doing cards and that. And I'm like, what is this? I get the threes follow me around, the fours follow me around the tower. No woman with the long hair or nothing like that. Hey, I'm losing somewhere.
Well, and the 3 plus the 4 equals a 7. And that is, the tower is a 16, which is a 1 plus 6, which is a 7. So maybe 7 is a number for you.
I thought 7 was my number, I think.
There you go. So
Well,
maybe it's just a
yeah.
resonance. But really, this tower card is amazing. So really, I'll try to be brief about the tower. The tower is
no.
what?
Don't be brief. I want to know. Everybody else out here. I'm serious. The people probably got their ears stuck to their radio.
I mean, brief in the sense that I won't go on for an hour. So about one card.
Go.
No, the tower. The tower is depicted as a card which usually has a structure, which is called the tower, and it's being hit by lightning, and these people are falling out of the tower. Now, old school cards, those people are naked. They have no clothes when they land, because when the lightning strikes, when those flashes of insight strike, or unexpected events, or an intense energy strikes, it takes us out of our comfort zone, which is the tower. It takes us out of hiding, which is the tower. And this is all about coming out of hiding and allowing yourself to be seen as you truly are without your hiding places. So many of us can put up walls, can hide, because we're insecure or we don't know or we're comfortable or that was our conditioning, whatever it looks like. But when the lightning strikes, there is something that doesn't allow us to hide from the true essence of who we are. It's a fabulous card. It can show up in someone's life as a sudden, unexpected event. Your house catches on fire, there's a flood in the garage, something completely out of the blue that you couldn't see coming. So it can typically represent that. But more importantly, the more esoteric meaning of this card is about the lightning, because that is what triggers the whole collapse of the tower and kicks you out of the tower. So the lightning can be the psychic 2x4s, the things like your spirit team just pushing against your head going, wake up, wake up. It's almost a wake-up call from the universe saying it is time to wake up and be your authentic self. Wake up. It can also be an activation of your life force energy and or your kundalini energy, which is a very highly advanced spiritual energy that we can all tap into or have the potential to tap into. So it can signify that cruising through your chakra system or the awakening of some kind, a spiritual awakening, a psychic awakening, an energetic awakening. And then, of course, it represents just the light bulbs going off that we all have going, aha, I didn't see myself for who I truly was until all of a sudden I had an epiphany and it came out of nowhere. And okay, I am now going to be more true to myself. But the most important thing with the tower is to allow yourself to feel that vulnerability, to feel and connect with the insight of the energy behind whatever that lightning is showing you. And then be willing to stand in that. You're getting thrown out of your comfort zone. The tower is your comfort zone. Whether you built it up consciously or subconsciously makes no difference. Whether it's happening in a metaphysical way or a physical way in your everyday life, no difference. I had a house of mine that flooded years ago. And the first thing I did was crack open a beer and say, there's my tower. It's kicking me out, man. Life's going to change. I'm not going to be able to live here anymore. And certainly that's exactly what happened. And so, our approach to this can be one of two ways. A lot of people gripe and groan when their comfort zone is being stripped away. But if you have the courage to really embrace those moments of adversity or those moments where you're vulnerable and you don't have your comfort zone, what can you create after that? It's going to be much more magical than what you've created thus far because you're growing up. And it's really a speeding up process. It's a quickening. It's really rapid change and growth on any spiritual journey as well. So I celebrate the tower. Some people fear the tower of how it shows up because it's not always comfortable. Nobody wants to lose a home, or no one wants to lose a relationship, or no one wants the rug pulled out from under them when they think that it's secure. And, where are they going to fall to? And they don't have what they once had. What they have is themselves. And can you rely on yourself to be set on a new path after you get thrown out of the tower? It's awesome.
And trust what you get, because, if you can get the end result, and that's the great thing is I see a lot of her readings that, you're getting all this information from cards, and yet a lot of that information is accurate from the very beginning. Because the average person is like, no, I do understand that. And Maggie's just working her magic, but those cards are speaking loudly to the person who is being read. And don't you kind of find it interesting that Mag's sitting here in Arizona on the internet web, and we're not even having other people touch the cards or any of that. And yet she's able to throw cards down for a person, in this case, either Zara or Reese, that were on the phone. And yet she's still connecting. Really? Isn't that kind of interesting? So it becomes, go ahead.
Don't forget what we do here. That was our little passed away buddies thing. When people call up on this phone, okay, the phone is on the same line as that computer that you're on. The lines are the same. So what I do is I run them the same, because when you get the energy from the person that's on the computer, you're getting an electronic connection, a real one.
Kind of like we're doing as a computer.
Yeah, we're not plugged in all 4 of these over here and 3 of these over here or something like that. Those 2 lines are direct. They're the only ones. There's 5 computers here on. This is the only line that's straight in.
And so you take that only line that's straight in.
I do it well. See, I also do it when I have guests on. Just like you feel people when they're on, and I've said this to you before. I'm not a psychic, and I'm not going to be psychic to anybody or anything like that. But no, don't even go there, because I know she's always saying, yeah. All right. But what I'm trying to say here is what I feel from the person, because of the connection, I can guide a conversation. I know their the soft parts and the hard parts, and the questions they don't like. I can steer around something that I feel, somebody pull back.
And that is the ability to feel where that person is at, so that you can communicate and talk with them, not just to them. And that's exactly right. Because in doing the psychic, everyone is a psychic medium. You are using your abilities, and you're more talented than you share. But it's also that ability to understand where that person is at, so that you get their perspective of life. Because for me, I need to do the best I can to understand where that person is in their life, so that I can communicate and talk with them, not just to them. And sometimes when a person feels this, I do count, I am a person, and it's not just talking to me, and I'm not just a number, I'm talking with me, basically himself in this case. And like, right, guess what? I'm you, you're me, we're all one. It's all a reflection. Yeah. And so when we can have our own tools or modalities, kind of like Mag, she's very talented with a variety of different modalities, not just one. I'm pretty much one. I've got the intuitive stuff, but so many different tools can help you to read energy. It's such a variety. Go, well, what vibes with you? Because there's many different ways. You don't have to do any of them if you don't want to, but we're always reading energy.
Oh yeah, right now, even as we happen to speak, and that because I got the text on the phone, we got a lot of people in California listening to us, because we've been writing back and forth net for a while, net back and forth on Facebook. Sometimes they write in, sometimes they text me or something. Those people out there are messed up. I don't care. I'm sorry. They really, really, really are. I mean, they're explaining their feelings and everything else. Do you think Jamie will do something for me for this? I said, well, you got to come on the show. Well, I don't feel like coming on the show. So it goes back and forth and back and forth. And I'm telling you something. I think I've done more for those people out there than they could have done for themselves, for sure. And they're coming out of their holes, kind of, sort of. I mean, listen, if you live out in on the West Coast, okay, you get gun afraid. Like, well, who's going to, and I don't mean literally shooting at somebody. I'm talking about the hate that's being thrown around all over the place, And it's like, as I said to people, I said, do you know, I said, you ever watch like Star Trek or any of these things? I said, you've got a regular energy bubble around you. It deflects all that stuff. And the reason being is because you know who you are. Heck with what those people talk about you or anything else, or say it to you or yell at you or anything else. You are you. That's it. End of story. You win. Right. And a lot of these people out there that are listening, that listen to the shows and my other shows too. I mean, they listen only because, as they say, they learn. And that was the intent of this show 11 years ago.
And what about that? Because we were talking about 11 years ago going, you're going to build a library. and you're doing it. You've
I
got
had you on.
huge-
I had you on last week, and that when we couldn't pair up together, and that we had a birthday here. And when I did that, we had a, let me see, it was a show from, I think it was like 7 years ago.
Wow, time
It was,
flies, man.
yeah, yeah. Well, you don't sound any different though.
Yeah, that's the good thing. I think you
You
and
know,
I got a face for radio, man.
I'm
Lord,
saying, it's like, hey, we did good then,
hey, that's the point. And it's really nice because this is the past as we perceive it, yet it's being brought into the present. And maybe that old information is giving someone a new way of seeing things now. Years
Mhm.
later, same information, different way of seeing it.
Yep, exactly.
And that was a dynamic for myself, is to get a little insight about some of the things that might bug us. And what I mean by that is for many years when I would fly, you'd have the people, and if the thing drops, put the nose, over your nose and then help other people. And I used to think, are you crazy? Women and children first. You always do that. And then it was said to me, if you're not conscious, you're not going to be able to help anybody. I'm like,
I,
got it.
I always,
Got
I
it.
always, I always thought they were going to say, put your head between your knees and kick your,
Just
kiss your butt by.
yeah, pretty much, especially in some of those. But
I mean,
it's a
I
whole
mean,
travel.
we were on a plane that one time, and we were going to. It was one of my Mexican trips that I took, and we hit one of those storms. Like sometimes like the plane drops a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know? I'm drinking a cup of coffee, and I got the coffee in the cup. The cup was in my hand. The coffee was on the ceiling.
Oh
The
wow.
liquid splashed on the right above my head.
So what happened?
Got us all wet. That's what happened.
Okay, you didn't burn though? Okay, cool. I'm like, oh man, you got hot coffee. Oh Lord.
I mean,
It's a whole nother, yeah, exactly that.
it was too much. I'm telling you, it was so funny.
Sounds like
And
you
then
have a lot of
the stewardess goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I said, "Yeah, tell the guy to, give him more lessons or something when he flies."
that's
But I'm serious. I mean, it was just one of those times. It was pretty funny.
it's interesting, but that's such a powerful energy that I'm sure a lot of people may not realize, and that is you're on a plane. You are allowing one or maybe a couple of people to dictate your life for the next number of hours of however long, because there's nothing you could do if things shifted except sit there. So it's
No,
just kind of interesting that it's the empowerment to go, we'll keep ourselves safe in my own way of feeling it. Even though other things could happen, I'm not going to go in that direction. I'm going to keep it easy. So for me, because anything could happen, but I don't focus on the negative. If I'm aware of the negative, I create a solution. Because I
mm,
found that the more I was approaching the problem, I'm not ignorant. I know there's a problem, but I kept approaching the problem to change it. And I kept getting more of the similar problem. And I asked Chi, I'm like, Chi, what the flag dog? Why am I getting more problems of the very problems I'm changing? I don't understand. He's like, that very reason. What do you mean? He's like, well, you have that connection, but you're focused on the problem. Certainly understandable, but if you focused on the problem, you're only going to get more of the problem. Like, if this is a problem, create a solution and let the energy translate and transfer into that solution if that person even chooses to. Because
mm,
when we can give a person an insight of potential, and then if they choose to act on it and then they get that end result, they're the magic. We're just the go-between. We're just information or the road sign. They're the ones who have literally manifested it. And
well, you
that can, go
when
ahead.
you get off, let me tell you, you're talking about where you're going, right? When you get off a plane, you get off the plane down there anyway, and there's guards all over the place, and they have AR-15s around their necks.
I'm sure.
They're ready to shoot or whatever. So you come off the plane, of course, you're from America. And at the time, they had to check everything. They had to check all your luggage and all the rest of the stuff. Like, what the hell am I going to bring into Mexico? Mexico's going to bring into America. Well, I'm not going to bring it into Mexico. You're not going to buy it anyway. But thing was that we got off the plane, and they're going through all the stuff. And I said, look, do you really have to go in that bag? That plane almost killed me, and you're going to go through my plane? I mean, my bag? Go see the plane. And the guy was like, huh? K? K? And I was like, oh.
And you had to abide by it more than likely, or you weren't
Heck
getting
no.
on.
I closed my bag. I said to the guy, I said, look, if there was a gun on that plane, I said they would have found it in Newark.
Now that's impressive, and nothing happened. You
No.
closed that, and they.
No. Yeah.
I'm like, holy cow! The average person here would be like, I don't think so.
Well, there was a lady, and that lady copping in next door and everything else. And I said to him, look, I put all my dirty underwear in that bag. they,
Around the gun.
They never went near that bag again. That
Yeah.
was it. It was gone.
It's all about presentation, right? That's
Yep.
what I'm like. Oh, okay.
But I'm serious. A lot of people don't take their, or how can I say this better? They take their lives too seriously. God bless you.
Thank you.
And that just I don't know. It's crazy. You hear these people, especially the ones that I listen to on radio all the time. There are a few of them, the conservatives, believe it or not, that they're not. They're very outgoing, open-hearted. Love everybody. One of these kind of things. But then you hear the other side, and for some reason, it's they pull themselves in instead of letting themselves out. I guess they're afraid some way. And there's so many people, because of that action, it's catching. And Maggie, you should see it in the cards somehow, where people are what would you call them? What do you call the people that keep everything inside?
Repressed?
No, that's my sex life.
Protected?
That was good. That's funny.
Protective?
No,
Hidden? Shy? Insecure?
Keep it rolling. Yeah. All of them.
But I'm serious. I mean, let's face it. Most of the people that are walking around right now are that. They really, really are. I mean, you can talk to them, and they don't open up to you. Like when I'm talking to somebody, the first thing I'll do is I'll start asking questions that they don't know I'm asking. That's how you interview. You talk around something. Oh, gee, how's this thing here? Well, what if you were doing this? To find out if the guy did whatever it was or whatever. Did you go to McDonald's today or whatever? But things like that, you can tell that people are uptight. Let's put it that way. That's a better meaning for it, because they're just not letting themselves loose at all.
And look at what's happening, though. This is a couple of years that people have been in a whole different way of thinking, man. And so now they're getting out with still the old energy that's around. It's being permeated. And I'm not a doctor, cannot diagnose. I'm not a scientist, nothing like that. But, sometimes fear can be a big motivator and demotivator. And the way you present it can be very effective. And another dynamic that just for me, because I'm very personal. I love people and I enjoy, but I've noticed over the past couple of years that a lot of people who are wearing the masks wouldn't even acknowledge people. I'm like, a mask and you can't, what? Huh? And so
right.
it's just been a little bit more of their cocoon and comfort effect. And that's tying into the online stuff too.
Yep.
More people are getting into virtual reality and all of those. They're getting their life online. They're staying home on their own, but they're connecting with other people neutrally, in this case, through the internet web. And yet they have their other life going on. So now it becomes, multitasking. Well, if I'm stuck here and freaking in the house, then I'm going to go out and go to this and go out and go to that. And so you're seeing a lot of the challenges from, in this case, the COVID, are actually becoming a benefit and a blessing to a certain extent. Because I believe that for a little while, they were saying, you're not going to go to that location. And so people weren't allowed to go to church. And so a lot of people, and it's beautiful, whatever works for you, tend to need to go to that location. Well, after they were shut down and they weren't able to go, what am I supposed to do? Bring them to you. So now they realize no matter where they are, they're all connected, but that they realize that they're not just stuck to have to go into a building in that exact location to make the connection. They brought it home. And so that was a very powerful dynamic.
And then you got the rest of it you get the rest of it that are crawling in a hole somewhere, and that because it's like, well, you can't go here, you can't go there, you can't go there. I mean, we have friends Mark even is in New York, and we talk to Mark. I talk to Mark every day, just about.
Nice.
I mean, either online or text or whatever. But here's somebody that's in New York. We're from New York. We know how New York was. But when we left New York, everybody would, if you fell down on the street, you'd have 9,000 people picking you up. Right. Today, God forbid you fall on the ground. They all
They'll
run the
kick
other
you.
way. They all run the other, or they run over you a couple of times. You know, if they run over you once, they back up to see what they hit, and rolled over you the second time. Oh, gee, that's what I hit. But seriously, I mean, you know, the things that are going on and the things that they're getting away with in certain areas, like that sign that's in the middle of Times Square. Did you guys hear about that?
No, what? No.
Chinese propaganda or whatever, on the ads that are on the 40-foot by 69-foot sign that's on the Times building.
Okay.
Where the ball fell, and they do this like 4 or 5 or 6 times a day, because the Chinese own the ad space, so they're putting their propaganda on those signs.
Isn't
But they're
it interesting?
allowing it. Wait a minute, they're allowing it. This is America, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Now we've got 800,000 undocumented people that were shipped into New York City, but they were just given the right to vote in the election in New York State. Now, both of you guys have the same look in your eyes that I had in my whole body. I was like, what? And I'm serious. You don't have to be a citizen at all to vote. And after that came down in New York, and I had, you want to talk about people calling you, I had things coming through on my Skype. I never used the other thing, Zoom. Never, ever. Somebody got a number somewhere, and all of a sudden my computer's going boop, 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 boop.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is this? These people are going, Bob, did you hear about? I said, yeah, okay. You know, the whole thing was California is doing the same thing with the voting as New York right after New York announced it. So Gavin out in New York, out in California, is doing the same thing. If you're in California anywhere and you're undocumented or illegal or whatever you want to say about it, or here you're not supposed to be here, or selling drugs on a corner and then going home, you can vote in California. Can you imagine? I mean, I don't know. You know, maybe I'm just either too old, too stupid, or just too brainless. But when I grew up, if you didn't have a birth certificate and a driver's license, you didn't vote anywhere.
Yep.
Period.
True.
Yep.
That's when I was a kid. Then they went over to putting everything that you get when you go to DMV. Everything is on your license. That strip that's in the back. When they scan that script, everything that you gave when you got that license is in there.
Mm-hmm. And
so
more.
Your birth certificate and everything is in there. So they know who you are, where you came from, where you were born. In fact, they know more about you than you know about you. That's how good that is. So now we got to take people that we don't know who they are, where they came from, what they do, what they're fentanyl and all this other kind of stuff that's going all over the place. Are they killing people? Are they shooting people? You know, did they just bring in the next shipment? There was a shipment, by the way, last week. 500 guns came in a truck over the borderline.
Wow.
Why did they get the truck? Because the idiot asked for help because he had a flat tire. They wondered why the truck was leaning a little too much to one. It was the weight of the guns that was in the
right. What if in a cosmic way that did happen so that it wouldn't happen?
Well, exactly. But the idea of the thing is, this is what's going on around, and the people who are causing it happening are the people who are the introverts.
Okay. Yep.
There's the word.
Yep.
They're just, everything is inside them. You know what I mean? The lies come out of the mouth. The truth is back somewhere else. And they say, no, that's no good. And too many people lie or don't tell the truth about themselves. And that's what that's why they need somebody like you. Somebody that will take them out of that shell, and to smack them in the face with the truth, like, hey, this is the way it is.
Lovingly.
You live a better life, you do it like this. If you don't, see ya.
And that's the point, living your example. That's, that's my thing, is anyone I'm talking with, I'm looking at them as the end result of whatever it is they're talking about. And on average, like, oh, okay, you know what? I love your end result. So if what you're going to share with me is going to get me like that, I'm listening because I love what you're doing. But if you're talking about things and you're not living your truth, I always equate that like you're 800 pounds at a gym telling people, I'm going to show you how to look good. And the average person will be like, wow, it's a beautiful intent, but that may not quite be the end result I'm looking for. So people are allowed to, they've been so separated as a planet, people have now finally started discovering themselves again. It's no more a honey do, it's a honey did list. And these people, starting to open up to life again in so many different ways. Not only is it that, but I have a lot of clients who are very successful, and a lot of them are like, no, I'm very successful. I have lots of money and stuff, but I want to do more. It's like everyone's been clicked and activated a lot during these past couple of years.
Right.
And,
exactly.
it's amazing to see that they're being activated, and a lot of times they don't even know what to do with it. I don't know, but I feel, I'm like, good. Well, when they can start feeling, I'm saying those feelings are the language of the soul. And when they can start to realize, oh, that's what it means. And when we are able to see different actions or energies and share some insight, it kind of loses the fear of, I don't understand that stuff. And it's scary to, oh, okay, great. And not only that, I'm seeing you that just shared the information as a very positive thing, not a negative. And so a lot of people are coming out of the closet, so to speak their truth a little bit more because they've had enough time to find themselves. That fear has shut them down. Now they're clicking to go, something's changing. Yep, me. And so I'm seeing a lot of people make changes across the board in so many different ways.
Well, we got a bunch of people, and her cards. I could definitely, Maggie, your cards, and that would definitely. You should sit down tomorrow and just what I'm saying. Go look. All the things that are going on around this country, and I'll include the whole 9 yards: the who, what, when, where, how, and why. With the hate, the kill, the blah 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 blah. And all the other stuff that's going on. There is a solution. There really, really is. And so many people, I see it every day on especially on the website and things, and then I have a blog thing and then Facebook too. It's so many people are going. They're talking about what's going on, or why don't people do this, or my life is miserable because you get these things over and over and over again, and people don't understand that there was, and in fact I can use this as an example. There was a movie out where a guy stuck his head out the window and he said he wasn't going to do it anymore. Remember that? What was it? Network was the name of the movie. That movie, what that guy did, sticking his head out the window, everybody walking around on this rock of America should do that. They should turn around and say no. If they don't like something, say no. That energy, if so many people said no, it would, that energy itself, I mean, you have a tremendous amount of positive energy turning off Washington. I mean, it's like, hey, you've only got, 250 people you got to mess with?
I think, pardon my ignorance, yeah.
I think it's that, maybe more, but the idea of the thing is every single one of those people are either for or against whatever they're doing. Like, for instance, if you happen to be a Democrat, you're a Democrat. And that's what you do. In that party was always a good party. I know that from when I was a kid. My father was a Republican, but his friend was a Democrat. But they all worked together. They all did. Yes, they argued, but they still worked together. They always come out with a solution, a good solution. Nobody voted against each other. They got together and they made a solution. They made a difference, no matter how they had to do it. Now, where are we today? Today we're at war. Everybody's at war with something. I don't care what it is. I mean, me personally, and right now I could be at war with my shaving cream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this morning it shot across the room. You ever get up in the morning
in the face?
You ever get in the morning and it's cold, and they're a little more liquefied than they are usually. You don't get the foam. You get more, it's looser than it is a foam. Mm-hmm. And I went, zing. Yeah, right on the shower curtain. Yeah. But, that's life. That's what the kind of things that they were going through, believe it or not. As funny as they sound and as dumb as they sound, but it's true. And your card reading and your psychic abilities boy, I'm telling you, I'll do anything. Send me your shows, and I'll put them on just like we're on right now. I can put them on.
Awesome. Thank you.
I mean, they can go on. They can go on the radio. I mean, people have to know that there is more out there than they think. Because every single one of them say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that." When? That's what I say. When? Oh well, when I get around to it. Well, which turn is that? Is that an avenue or a boulevard? You got to turn. Sure. Well, we're going to get around to it. So hey.
All right.
And things like this are things that wake people up. When you show them that don't say I wouldn't say they were wrong. They're not wrong. That's them. But they're not correct. And that's what I've been saying to a lot of people, and so far so good. I mean, nobody came back to me and never said anything, and every single one of them came back and said, days later, I was thinking about what you said. This is days later.
Wow.
And I said, ooh, you were thinking about what I was saying. What else? Anything else? Anything else come through? Whatever. It's pretty funny, but
look at the value. The days after, they're still thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't be that passionate and think about it unless they were that passionate and think about it.
Well, I try to use a little bit of levity, as you can see. I do it on the radio all the time too, because people remember. They remember something you said. 99% of the time, they will come and they will tell you said it wrong. 99% of the time, they will say you said it wrong, or why didn't you say, or does this mean? That's what you're going to get, in the days later. But I'm surprising myself. I mean, these people coming back and saying, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to try that. And again, I say, even if they ask me that, I say, when? Because everything is now. Maggie,
yeah.
You should know that better than anybody. Now. We are in the now. And if you're going to do something, do the now. Because the tomorrow or yesterday or last week or next year, we're in the third year of a pandemic. Nobody even realized it. They said, I thought it was a year and a half. Where have they been?
Yep. Shift the
Out to
focus.
what?
You get into that cocoon. That's exactly.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people are coming back to life now. They're starting to realize, okay, there's something here. I'm ready for it. And a lot of people don't know what they want to do, but they're ready to do something new. They can get frustrated. And I'm always sharing the fact that, well, if you don't know what you want to do, where you want to go, or what you want to be, then how do you want to feel from this opportunity? Successful, happy, empowered. That kind of a connection, because for me, once I've learned to keep those qualities and vibe with happiness or abundance or whatever the case is, that I bring the people, circumstances, and experiences to me through co-creation, not manipulation, and I tend to receive a lot of what I accept as a reality all the time. No luck, precision on the universe's part. Co-creation, not manipulation in this case.
Maggie, quick question. I'm gonna ask her a quick question. What did you come up with for 2022? Until 23.
In terms of numerology, or
no. Well, you can use that too. I mean, that's a good one. But like, for instance, right now everybody's on the edge of their seat. Are we going to be off the seats when we hit 23?
Oh, well,
I know it's a tough one. I know it's a tough one.
I'll dip into a little astrology to answer this question, because just for a little bit of variance and a little bit of fun, but this is information I think people should just realize it's coming. This year, Pluto is going to return to the exact position it was when America was born, when the Declaration of Independence was signed. Pluto is going to match those degrees in Capricorn, and it's called a Pluto return for a country. Now, in history, sometimes Pluto actually rules death and regeneration. And so some countries, when this happens, they completely just get wiped off, right? Other countries, there's a regenerative aspect, whether rulership changes, shifts of government sometimes, definitely a shift of consciousness for it. But most Americans will be feeling this, seeing this, and it is an astrological shift that is going to last quite a while through 2022. And so it's not here quite yet. I think it hits in, I can't remember exactly the date. I don't have it written down. I didn't know we were going to go here today, but
Maybe
it
a spring
hits
thing.
it hits early this year and it continues for a while. And so every 250 years, right? Like Pluto is going to return, and it's been 1776, and we're right back into a Pluto return right now. So this is like a big deal with astrologers, and a really big deal for America to know that Pluto's coming back to the time that we were born as a country. And that was a regeneration, right? Complete regeneration of how things were done. And it's in Capricorn, and Capricorn sets rules, sets regulations, it likes structure. It is, the CEOs of the companies, the higher ups of the government. I mean, there's a lot of things that this is going to influence.
You better start professing that all over the place. Because
Well, we'll see what I'm super curious to see how this will play out, because
yeah,
Pluto doesn't give a crap about the individual. This is about an evolutionary expansion and regeneration over and over and over again. So this is an evolutionary thing, and it's going to hit America, but we other countries might see it on the periphery of what we go through. I don't know if they'll feel it in the same way. We'll find out.
I see a lot of differences only because of the plain fact that we have no border. We are the only country in the world right now that has no border. The only one. This was a sovereign country because we were a country. We're no longer a country. We are now a melting pot. People are just coming in. I mean, half of the people that are coming over the border aren't even from Central America. There are people coming through that they don't even know who they are, where they came from, or whatever, So all these things that we're talking about with Pluto, and that I'm afraid this is either going to go one way or the other. There's going to be no 50-50s here.
And Pluto is unforgiving. Like I said, it really doesn't focus on an individual. It focuses on, expansion of a whole humanity consciousness. And what does that entail?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Now, on that note, we have, I'm serious. I could I could talk about that stuff forever. But just like you, her and I could get together and just put on the coffee. That's all. We'll be together for years.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Seriously. But the idea of the thing is, I also want to tell everybody too that tomorrow, of course, in YouTube, and that this video will be there. I'm hoping that people that get this video pass the video around. I want you to see what we're talking about, things that we're talking about. We're so far off the script that isn't funny. But the idea of the thing is, we are here for everyone that listens to the video. Isn't that kind of easy? Wouldn't you like somebody in your corner all the time? Like, holy mackerel, all you got to do is pick up a pen. You can write, you can email, you can text. You can go on to Pyramid One Radio, click down to where you see Pyramid One Radio, and it says Wix, W-Y-X. Click on there, go down to the chat box. You can talk to me anytime you want to. Right now, in that box is, I got so many addresses in there, it isn't funny. You can get Maggie and Jamie anywhere. Even driving somewhere, you probably get with this always zing, a piece of paper just flap into the window or something. You don't turn around and go, arr, arr, arr. But the idea of the thing is that we are open for communication. That's what radio is all about. And I know we got people, someone listening in Pakistan.
Awesome.
Listening to, and France. But the idea is we are here for you. We're a worldwide company that does business getting in touch with you. All you have to do is pick up your line, PC, smartphone. And I also got it, by the way, and this is kind of weird. I got it on a flip phone.
Wow.
which you really, really can't do. But flip phones,
Yeah, I'm like, how'd you do that one?
flip phones, you can text. So if you flick text, you flip in the link,
Oh, interesting. Oh, that's good.
and then the link plays.
Dang, that's creative. Cool.
It doesn't. You know, the one that I'm here with, Net. She doesn't use smartphones at all. She thinks they're. She can sit on the phone on the PC and F for days. But hey,
Whatever the comfort is, man.
Phones are for making phone calls.
That's more of what's happening. We're starting to communicate more, and we've been left alone to find ourselves again, which is what's starting to happen. It's a little sluggish as we try to get back, but there's going to be some shifting.
Yeah, well, all those people out there right now that have flip phones, you're going to be going through a lot of trauma very, very shortly because they're getting rid of flip phones.
Yeah, things are being outdated, kind of like everything else. You either make the adjustment or you stay where you are.
What you say about being out?
Yeah.
What about the date? What?
But that's the point. It's gotten so heavy and so challenging. We're now making decisions a little bit differently based on the new pattern, not so much the old.
Drives me nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyway, to the both
it's all
of you,
about the love.
Maggie and Jamie. Don't forget, I was playing.
I love that.
Wait, it's crazy.
This you?
Keyboard's right behind me. Okay, everybody, listen. You're right here on Pyramid One Radio. We love you. And you love yourself. God bless y'all. Bob Charles.